You know, it is a rarefied thing in the video game world for a new entry in a franchise to outperform its original in every way. And not only that, even rarer to play a video game that hits you so hard, that is so emotionally packed, that uses every minute of its on-screen time to communicate its story and theme in such a special, unique, and emotive way. I don't often play many games where when I reach the final end, I just have to sit and take some time by myself to just process. Now, one can argue that every one of the Life is Strange games is a strong emotional journey that leaves you with a lot of feelings, but not since the first entry have I ever felt so impacted, so heavy in my emotional toll taken playing the game. Never has a new entry in the Life is Strange game gotten such a visceral reaction from me and from the rest of the fandom. And I just have to say, all of my expectations for Life is Strange True Colors were not only met, but exceeded in playing this game. And now that I've had the time to process and play the game 2 times, well, technically I'm doing it a 3rd time, I'm a real trophy hunter these days, but I've finally been able to collect my thoughts about this game and just how special it is. I had a really hard time thinking of what kind of voiceover I would do for this because I thought this game is so perfect and so sublime in what it brings to the franchise. I was actually really worried that I wouldn't be able to do it justice. And maybe I can't, and that's okay. But as someone who absolutely adores this franchise, for someone who in some ways this first game really got me into a different type of gaming and made me realize that there was some really emotionally driven, plot heavy stories without shoot 'em up mechanics, something that could affect you in such a way that you'd want to talk about it with people later. Now, I'm not going to get fully into it, but I don't really feel that we, as a fandom of the Life is Strange community, got everything that we wanted with Life is Strange 2. And there was definitely some worry, including on my part, that they may not continue the franchise after the pretty mixed reaction to the 5 chapters that made up the second entry. Part of what has me so enchanted with True Colors, so impressed, is that they very clearly addressed all of the issues that people were really feeling in Life is Strange 2. And I felt that it really boiled down to 3 major things that Life is Strange 2 was missing. 3 things that needed to be addressed to get this franchise back on track. And that was a lack of mystery that moves the plot forward, a lack of recurring characters and setting, and a lack of music and needle drops. If we're looking at the first Life is Strange game as the criteria for what the franchise could be, all 3 of these core elements are part of what really drives the game and makes it so unique. There's the mystery element of the hurricane that's coming, as well as Rachel's death. We have a large cast of recurring characters set in the idyllic fictional town of Arcadia Bay, which is iconic in its own right. And Life is Strange was particularly known for its needle drops, or specifically how it uses music in sync with picture, how it incorporates indie music into gameplay. This is one thing that really drew me into the franchise, as I am an absolutely huge lover of music and feel that we don't see it incorporated into video games enough. So when Life is Strange 2 came out and we got this story about these 2 brothers who are constantly on the run, always briefly running into special characters and never really returning to them again, never having one true place to call home, never getting the audience to fall in love with one true place, and by chapter 5, a serious lack of needle drops. Episode 5 of Life is Strange 2 has 0 needle drops, 0 songs in it, and I don't know if this was a matter of budget, but this was one of those things that really got me worried for the future of the franchise. If they couldn't even recognize what a failing it was to not have music in episode 5, I was very worried for what might become of the franchise, if anything. And then, in March 2021, I flipped my lid.
When I moved to Haven Springs, I hadn't seen my brother Gabe in years.
Alex! It's just so good to see you again. Welcome to Haven.
This place is pretty sweet.
The announcement trailer for True Colors introduces us to Alex Chen, a 20-something with empathic psychic abilities, who reunites with her long-lost brother Gabe in the idyllic town of Haven Springs, Colorado. Here she is introduced to people like fan favorite Steph, as well as the bartender and patrons, and we immediately get a sense of the emotional stakes of True Colors, the search for a place to call home and finding family there. But when Gabe suddenly passes away in a mysterious mining accident, it's up to Alex to solve the mystery of her brother's murder by using her empathic abilities. So, just within the tiny little 2 minutes of this trailer, we immediately get a sense of mystery, recurring characters and settings, and a tease to several needle drops. I mean, even the trailer for this had 2 original songs, and they don't even appear fully in the game. They had songs commissioned just for the trailers. When I learned that, I got all kinds of excited. Furthermore, when the press release came out and they announced that they'd have artists like Phoebe Bridgers on soundtrack, my hopes started to get real high. One decision that ultimately worked against Life is Strange 2 was the lack of powers and abilities in your main playable character. In Life is Strange 2, you play as Sean, whose brother has uncontrollable magic powers, but you do not. Making the decision to bring back in a lead with a specific psychic power that allows her to make uniquely informed emotional decisions was inspired, and it's so well executed into the gameplay. There are moments in this game that make you feel so deeply for the people that Alex is trying to help. It really, really gets to you. Something that I realized, especially at the end of the game, was the emotional toll it takes in playing. And I was happy about that. I was happy that the game had left me feeling drained because I had just run the gamut of all of the major emotions in playing it. Anger, fear, sadness, confusion, and happiness. Utter happiness when I saw those things that had been lacking in the recent Life is Strange games come back with a vengeance. The needle drops are gorgeous. The new soundtrack by Angus and Julia Stone is so wonderful, the same way that Daughter did their own soundtrack for Before the Storm, and the fact that Angus and Julia Stone are siblings writing songs about siblings is just one of those beautiful, really appreciable touches that just really comes alive when you listen to the songs and you get all these beautiful moments of calm. And there are so many moments of calm in this game, something that I also feel the previous games were lacking a little bit. So many excellent needle drops, and Alex is a musician, which really gives us opportunities for her to actually sing, and her singing voice is provided by MXM Tune. This game also has such imaginative, surreal visuals, creative symbolic imagery, lovable characterizations, and unique specificity in its world. There's actually so much I could say about the game, but I don't really want to because I don't want to spoil any of it. I intentionally tried to keep my video clips as vague as possible because the best way to go into a game like this is knowing little more than what the trailer tells you. So with that, I'll just say, I went in playing True Colors with moderate to high expectations. I just got that special feeling in my gut when I saw the trailers and I saw how they were promoting it, that I just felt like the developers knew they had something really, really special on their hands, and they really, really do. I absolutely cannot wait for the Wavelengths DLC to come out. In the meantime, I'm going to finish up my third gameplay. I am just hours away from earning platinum on this. I cannot tell you how happy that makes me. But I just cannot tell you how happy I am as a Life is Strange fan to see True Colors bring forward everything that I wished it would. It's the best of the series because it brings its best foot forward in every way. In story, characterization, as well as animation, length, music. It just all comes together in such a serene and harmonious game. It's an emotional roller coaster that's worth every penny, in my opinion. And I really can't wait to see what the franchise does next. But for now, I feel that I can definitively say True Colors is the best Life is Strange game yet.